They're coming. Stay hidden, or we will not survive.
Deborah, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. So, prequels can be tricky because we know where they end up more often than not. What would you say, the trickiest aspect of telling the story when I guess people already know the resolution?
That was the trickiest thing about this story. You know, not only is it these huge iconic characters and their legacy characters, but we're in between two trilogies. So we're essentially telling the second act of a story where we know the first act and the third act, and you know what's going to happen to them. So that was the most challenging aspect, I think, of the series. But it was also kind of exciting because, you know, we were telling a period that we haven't seen before.
And I've only seen a couple of glimpses from the trailer so far, but the action looks cool. It looks like it, just seeing the lightsabers and the laser fights in the dark and the rain, like it looks different to it, aspects we've seen in Star Wars action before. Was that something that you were, passionate about? Like, because people expect a certain type of action from a Star Wars movie, but also you don't want to just give them the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I was excited. I love doing action, honestly. And I was, I'm always excited to do it. And one of the things that I also felt pretty passionate about with the show was like taking us to new visual worlds and getting to see something. Because for me, Star Wars has always been, that's been a huge part of the experience of getting to explore new places. So we were really trying to, try some things that were different and try to find some things that really felt specific to the show. And then in terms of the action, also bringing in characters like the Inquisitors, it felt, and like with a new character like Reva, it felt like we had an opportunity to do things a little bit differently with characters like that.
Yeah, like even from the trailers, they have left an impression. You can tell that they're going to like change the mood whenever they're on screen. But how do you approach bringing in new characters, like a potentially iconic villains that don't borrow too much from the Star Wars villains we've seen before?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was obviously adapting them from the animated series, from Rebels and, all of Dave Filoni's work. So I think it's, I'm trying to stay truer to the essence of, of what Dave was doing in the animated series. But we did also invent, there's some new Inquisitors as well. But I think for me, they were a real opportunity to have some new villains and to have this kind of very cool and a little, have a modern set of villains that, would mix up as well with some of the more legacy characters.
And speaking of legacy characters, I can only imagine the excitement on set for the very first day when you and Hayden are kind of reunited, like properly on set together. Like when you were working on that specific day, that specific moment when they were brought back together, like could you feel the energy in the room? You're like, we're doing something pretty special here.
Yeah, I mean, this whole series, I've never worked on anything, honestly, where the crew has been so passionate and so into it. And, it's interesting because it's personal for everybody because everybody cared about these characters that was working on the show. And so I think, we had a number of moments. I do remember like one of the first times with Hayden on set and just looking around and going, why is half the office standing around here? Like everybody that's normally in the production office. And they were all just coming to see him. And, when we did some scenes, it would just go like, drop dead quiet because everybody was so into it. It was exciting.
Deborah, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
You can't run Obi-Wan!